8th grade, today we're going to be talking about comparing fractions and finding equivalent fractions. We did this not that long ago, so I know that this is probably still going to be really fresh inside of your brains. But if you guys do not have them, I need you to go get your fraction strips, okay? Because we're going to be using these today, and you're also going to be using this on your activity, and the activity that I have for you in Education Galaxy, and then on your interactive slides that I have for you on this lesson. So if you don't have your fraction strips, please go get them. All right, we're going to start with finding equivalent fractions. The models below each represent a fraction. Which statement is true based on the models? All right. Well, let's figure out what this fraction is right here. I'm going to figure out my denominator first. And my denominator, who remembers what the denominator is? Good. Your denominator is the total number of parts in your whole. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 total parts. And your numerator is the number of parts that are being counted or shaded. And in this case, we're dealing with fraction pieces that are shaded. And how many shaded parts do we have? Good. We have 2 shaded parts. Okay, let's figure out this one. What is this fraction? This fraction, good, is 1/4. I have 4 total parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have 1 part that is shaded. So that is 2/8 and 1/4, or our answer choices, as you can see, have 1/4 written first. So 1/4 and 2/8, okay? So I'm going to get my fraction pieces, and I'm going to get 1/4. And 2/8. Are either one of these fractions greater than the other? No. So these fractions are equivalent, all right? So you're just going to find the answer choice that matches that. 1/4 equals 2/8. This says 1/4 is, what is this symbol? That is greater than. Good. That is not true. 1/4 equals 1/8. What's wrong with that answer choice? Our fraction is 2/8. And then 1/4 is greater than 1/8. Well, my fraction, I don't have 1/8 up here. I have 2/8. So that is wrong. The correct answer here is letter A. All right. Point F is labeled on the number line. Using the number line, which statement is true? Well, let's figure out where is point F at on my number line. Okay, I'm going to figure out the total number of parts or sections, and this right here is not going to count as a section. The section counts from the first tick mark, or your sections count from the first tick mark to your last tick mark. So 1, 2, 3, 4. How many sections do we have? We have 4 sections. And point F is at 1, 2. 2 sections away from 0. So this fraction is 2/4 of the way between 0 and 1. Point F represents 2/4 and 1/2 because they're both halfway on the number line. Well, can I split this number line in half? You sure could. If you do it right here, this would be 1/2. Okay? 2/4 and 1/8. Well, this is in fourths. If I split this, this would be 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. That's 1/2, or 4/8. Okay? Are 2/4 and 1/8. This is 2/4. This is 1/8. Are those the same? No, those are not. 3/4 and 2/4. Well, this is 2/4 right here. And then this would be 3/4. Are those the same? Nope. None of the above. That's not true because point F represents 1/2 or 2/4. And you could check it. 1/2 and 2/4, those are equivalent. All right, let's look at this one. The two figures below both represent fractions. Let's figure out what fractions these both represent. What is this first fraction? Good, 2/4. What is this fraction? Good, 2/4. They both represent 2/4. Now, are my wholes the same size? Meaning the whole figure, are the whole figures the same size? Yes, they are. Are my parts split up the same way? No, they're not. Good. Okay, which of the following statements is not true? The shaded figures are congruent because 2 of the 4 equal areas are shaded. Well, my wholes are the same size. All I did was cut up my pieces into different ways, okay? The figures are congruent because they show different amounts shaded. The figures are congruent because 2 of the 4 equal areas are unshaded. The figures are congruent because they each represent 2/4 shaded. Well, these are congruent figures. We've already established that. The figures are congruent because 2 of the 4 equal areas are shaded. That is true. 2 of the 4 equal areas, each one of these pieces in this model is split up, and they're all equivalent parts. These are all equivalent parts. These parts are equivalent, even though they look different. The figures are congruent because they show different amounts shaded. Do I have different amounts shaded here? No, I don't have different amounts shaded here. I have the same amount. The figures are congruent because 2 of the 4 equal areas are unshaded. Well, I have 2 not shaded and I have 2 not shaded on both of them. The figures are congruent because they each represent 2/4 shaded. And we know that both fractions here are 2/4. Letter G is your correct answer. It's really important that when you're dealing with a problem like this, these are a lot of words. Okay, there's a lot of reading that goes on in this problem. So it's really important that you stop and think about what the answer choice is asking you. Okay, first of all, you want the one that is not true, so you want the one with an X. All the others are going to have check marks because they are true. The figures, to just break down each answer choice, the figures are congruent because 2 of the 4 equal areas are shaded. Are these congruent figures? Yes, that's true. Because 2 of the 4 equal areas are shaded. There's 2 here, and there's 4 total. There's 2 here, there's 4 total. You just have to slow down what the question and the answer choice is asking you. All right, let's look at this one. A carpenter is placing tile in a new house. The models below are shaded to represent 2 rooms that he has started tiling. What fraction of this room is already tiled? Good, 2/8. What fraction of this room is already shaded or already tiled? Good, 3/8. So I have 2/8 and 3/8, but we also need to be able to identify our fraction written either way, our comparison. Okay? What do we see about 2/8 compared to 3/8? Two-eighths is going to be less than 3/8. Well, if 2/8 is less than 3/8, that means 3/8 is greater than, good job, greater than 2/8. Which one of these matches your answer choice? Letter A. All right. Here's another really wordy problem. There's a lot of words to this and it's a lot of reading. Myra served 1/2 of her cake to the family. Myra served 1/4 of the same cake to her friend. Which statement is true? Myra served her friend more cake because each piece of cake cut into 4 parts is larger than each piece of cake cut into 2 parts. Well, here's a cake cut into 4 parts. And there's a cake cut into 2 parts. Here's a cake cut into 2 parts and a cake cut into 4 parts. Which is bigger? The cake cut into 2 parts? Which parts are bigger? The 2 parts or one of the 4 parts? Yes, one of the 2 parts is going to be bigger. So Myra served her friend more cake because each piece of the cake cut into 4 parts is larger than each piece of cake cut into 2 parts. That is not true. Myra served her family and friend the same amount because the numerator of each is 1. If these are slices of cake, her family got 1/2 and her friend got 1/4. Are those the same amount? Even though my numerators are both 1? No, those are not. Myra served more cake to her family because each piece of cake cut into 2 parts is larger than each piece of cake cut into 4 parts. A piece of cake cut into 2 parts is larger than a piece of cake cut into 4 parts. There is not enough information to determine who Myra served more cake to. That's not true. Yes, there is. Again, this is a problem that you just have to slow down and really read what the question or the answer choice is asking you. Even if that means you have to read the answer choice multiple times, take your time and think about what the question is asking you, okay? And think about what the answer choice is trying to tell you.